Hey guys, it's Jank Deck Brewery here, and today I'm bringing you the deck of green-white tokens. First off, I'd like to apologize because I am congested from allergies, so I probably sound a little bit off, and I'm sorry if that bothers you. And second, this deck is a little bit more pricey and competitive compared to maybe a lot of more budget decks, but this deck is also very fun to play, and will probably one of the few times that I put up a more competitive style deck on the channel, as I feel most of the decks on this channel will be a little bit more janky based around fun combos. First off, I'm going to show you our main cards that produce tokens. We're running 4 Servo Exhibition, 4 Sram's Expertise, and 2 Oath of Gideon. I feel like I don't want to run more than 2 Oath of Gideon, as we have other important cards in the deck, and I didn't want Oath of Gideon to take up too much slots in the deck, but having 2 of it is plenty. We're running Planeswalkers in the deck, which are very important to us, and so Oath of Gideon helps boost that. And with Sram's Expertise, the only problem I have is that we don't have a bunch that we can play off of it. Probably our best play with Sram's Expertise is drop it and then play another Servo Exhibition off of it. Let's say like turn 2 Servo Exhibition, turn 3 Oath of Gideon, turn 4 Sram's Expertise into another Servo Exhibition. We'll just create so many tokens, it's unbelievable. But other than that, Sram's Expertise is a really good addition to the deck. Next off, I'm going to be showing you cards that help support our tokens and make more of them. So we're running 3 Anointed Procession and 4 Second Harvest. Now, Anointed Procession is the white version of Parallel Lies that was introduced into Amonkhet, and it is very good in this deck. I didn't want to run 4 of them, as having a 4 mana cost enchantment that does nothing the turn it comes out isn't the best for our deck, compared to a Second Harvest where it's just an instant, and turn 4 we can drop it and immediately double the amount of tokens we have. And so that's good, but with Anointed Procession, it doesn't do anything the turn it comes out, so I don't want to be flooded with it, but it is a key piece in the deck and is very important, and do not underestimate it. The next part of our deck is Planeswalkers. We're running 3 Nissa Voice of Zendikar and 2 Gideon Ally of Zendikar. Now, Nissa is very, very good in this deck, and she's doing everything that we want to do. She's helped creating tokens, she's making +1/+1 counters to put on all of our tokens, and her -7 is a good late game play. Drawing a bunch of cards and gaining a bunch of life is not bad at all. There's nothing wrong with that, but she's doing 2 things we really want to do in this deck, and so I don't want to play any less of her than 3. Even bumping her up to 4 is not a bad idea at all. And we're running 2 Gideon Ally of Zendikar. He's also doing 2 very important things that we want to do, which is creating tokens and boosting our tokens. The only reason why I ran more Nissas than Gideon is 1, Nissa is cheaper, and 2, Nissa's ability to put +1/+1 counters on all of our creatures is recurable. We can do it multiple times. Whereas with Gideon, we can just make his emblem once, and even with the static effects, putting multiple +1/+1 counters on our tokens is very good, and I felt was a lot more important, so I chose to run more Nissas over Gideon. But don't underestimate Gideon. Obviously, as we all know, Gideon is insanely powerful, and in this deck he's really good, as even if we don't need him to make tokens or boost them, we can just +1 and swing in for 5, which is not a bad idea whatsoever. Next up, I'm going to be showing you the creatures in the deck. We're running 2 Hanweir Militia Captain, 1 Angel of Invention, and 2 Oketra the True. Hanweir Militia Captain is a weird addition, but he's actually really good in the deck, and I feel like he's a better late gameplay, as he can just be a big body. Once he flips in the deck, it's insanely easy to flip him. He'll help us make tokens, and will most likely be a huge body to help block and attack. The only really bad thing is that he does die to Fatal Push easily, but he's a very good addition to the deck, and there's nothing wrong with dropping him early game, but I feel like he is actually a really good late game play in this deck. And we're running 1 Angel of Invention to help further boost our tokens. I didn't want to run more than 1, as I honestly didn't want to be drawing her that often, but Angel Invention is doing things that we want to do. It's help boosting our tokens and help making tokens. But if we're making tokens off of her, which we will be doing a lot, and she'll be a 2/1 body, which isn't that great and can easily die. And a lot of times if they even have any flying creatures out, you're not going to be attacking at all. She's just going to be sitting there and basically acting as an emblem. And for 5 mana, we can play better things. For 4 mana, we can play Gideon and Emblem, which is uh, better than Angel of Invention. But I still feel like she's a good play, as if we don't need the tokens, we can actually just have her be a 4/3 body with flying, vigilance, and lifelink, which is also very good. Next, we're running Oketra the True, and she's actually an all-star in this deck. She's so good and has helped me close out so many games. It's unbelievable. Her condition is so insanely easy to satisfy in this deck. You won't ever be thinking that you have to strive to turn on her condition to be able to attack your block, because it'll just happen so fast and so easy in this deck. It's not something you have to worry about. Basically, just ignore her middle part, and she's just a 4 mana 3/6 double strike indestructible that you can make tokens, and it's just insane how good she is in this deck. I honestly didn't expect her to be this good in this deck, as a lot of people didn't feel like the gods were that powerful, but she is surprisingly good in this deck, and I feel like this is the right home for her. And if you have extra mana, you can just pay 4 mana and make a 1/1 token with vigilance, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have extra mana. But other than that, Oketra is very, very good and will help you close out a lot more games than you think she would. Alright, so the next part of our deck are supporting cards that are going to help boost our deck even further. So we're running 2 Throne of the God-Pharaoh, 1 Cryptolith Rite. Throne of the God-Pharaoh, I feel, is a very underestimated card and is so good. This is its home. I actually saw a Wizards article about it that helped explain how good it is with a token strategy, and this is exactly where it belongs. I know that they had tokens in mind when they made that card, and it is just so unbelievably good in this deck. It's, like I said, it's so underestimated, and it is practically just doubling the amount of damage you're doing with your tokens, and combined with Cryptolith Rite, you can just tap your tokens for mana and deal damage to the opponent. Like, it's insane. And with Cryptolith Rite, you can use that mana to create even more tokens, and Throne of the God-Pharaoh has helped me close out so many games. It's insane. But I didn't want to run more than 2, as we have a lot of other important cards in the deck, and it is legendary, so we can't play multiple of it anyway. And I tried running 3 Cryptolith Rite, but that was still too much, and it's something that isn't extremely beneficial in our deck unless it's combined with Throne of the God-Pharaoh most of the time, as most of the cards in our deck, almost all of them, are 4 mana or below. One of the only ones is Angel of Invention, and it's only a 1/of, so it's not like we really need the extra mana, but Cryptolith Rite is in there, especially for the good combo with Throne of the God-Pharaoh. So next up is our removal package. So we're running 2 Cast Out, 2 Dusk to Dawn, and 3 Immolating Glare. Cast Out is good against planeswalkers and creatures we can't take care of. Dusk to Dawn is surprisingly very, very good, and has helped me close out a lot of games, as most of the time it won't be killing our creatures. It's possible to get our tokens up to power 3, but a lot of times you'll play Dusk and wipe out so many, if not all, of the opponent's creatures, and swing in with so many of your tokens and deal a mass amount of damage. And Dawn isn't necessarily what we're looking for in their deck. The only thing it can really get back is Hanweir, Militia Captain, but we don't really need that. But Dusk is very, very good in the deck, and I wouldn't underestimate it. And we're running 3 Immolating Glare to help with creature removal if they have more creatures we need to get rid of. Alright, so this is the land base we're running. We're running 10 plains, 6 forests, 4 Fortified Village, and 3 Canopy Vista. I feel like this is a good amount. 23 lands is good. I messed with it a little bit, but I originally started off with 23. I messed with it, I didn't like it, and so I went back to 23, and this is a good solid amount. Lastly is our sideboard. We're running 4 Dissenter's Deliverance, which is good against all the artifacts, Torrential Gearhulks, Heart of Kieran's, Dynaful Tower, and Aetherworks Marvel. All those cards are seeing massive amounts of play still, and so I feel like running 4 in the sideboard is very good. And you could honestly run it main board, as we can just cycle it away for 1 green if we don't need it, but I honestly couldn't find the slot to play it in the deck, and if I did, I would play it main board. Next, we're running 2 Cast Out to fill up and finish the play set, and it just helps further deal with planeswalkers and other creatures we can't handle or take care of easily. And we're running another Dusk to Dawn to have more creature removal, another Immolating Glare to take care of more creatures. We're running 2 Gideon's Intervention, and the best thing you can do with that card is probably name Sweltering Suns if they're playing it, or any other board wipes. It will kill all of your creatures off. Heroic Intervention is more protection against removal. It can protect all of our tokens against a board wipe. It can protect our planeswalkers too. And we're running another Gideon if we need it, and we're running 1 Fumigate. And Fumigate is actually really good in this deck. If the enemy is running a creature heavy deck, don't feel bad about running Fumigate instead of Dusk to Dawn, because most of the time we will probably have a lot of tokens and we'll end up killing them all off, but we'll gain a bunch of life off of it, and it'll benefit us almost 100% of the time. Last off, we're going to talk about the price of the deck. $107 for the main board, $94 for the non-lands, $13 for the land base, and $29 for the sideboard. The price is a little bit more hefty for a lot of people, and it is not very expensive compared to a lot of the higher tier decks in the format. Alright, so that was green-white tokens. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed the deck. Leave some feedback in the comments, and if you want to see any other deck techs in the future, just leave a suggestion and I'll most likely get to it. And like I said, this deck is not as janky as most of my decks will be. This is a little bit more competitive, but it is such a blast to play. There's nothing more satisfying than getting like 50 servos and killing your enemy with it. It's just a blast to play, and I highly recommend you try it out. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.